In this video, we're going to be learning about how to multiply fractions. Now, there are some people that find multiplying fractions easier than adding and subtracting fractions. You might be one of those people and you might not. Either way, we really hope this video helps. So let's get right into it. So let's say I have the fraction 2 over 5 times 3 over 2. So how do you multiply fractions? And this may be a little bit more straightforward than adding and subtracting fractions because when multiplying fractions, you don't have to find a common denominator. You don't have to change the numerator or denominator. What you can do is that you multiply the numerator and numerator, and you put that in the solution numerator, and you multiply the denominator and the other denominator, and you put that in the solution denominator. So you get 2 times 3, so you get 2 times 3, and 2 times 3 equals 6. Then you do 5 times 2, and then 5 times 2 equals 10. So basically what you do is that you multiply the numerator of one number times the numerator of the other number, and that equals the numerator of the solution. Then you multiply the denominator of one number times the denominator of the other number, and that becomes your denominator solution. So basically, in multiplying fractions, you don't have to find any common denominator. So this can actually be reduced. 6 over 10th can actually be reduced. So if you divide 6 by 2 and you divide 10 by 2, then you get 3 over 5. So let's do another problem. So let's say we have 10 over 13 times negative 2 over 3. So we do the same thing we did in the last example, except a positive times a negative equals a negative. So always remember to put the negative sign. So you get negative, that equals negative 20. So you get negative 20, and then what's 13 times 3? So 13 times 3 is 39. So you get negative 20 over 39. Now what I want to do is that I also want to redo the first problem that we did, which is 2 over fifths times 3 over 2. And I want to show you a method that we can get directly to 3 over fifths rather than getting 6 over 10 first and then reducing it to 3 over fifths. So what you can do is that if the numerator of one fraction is a factor or a multiple of any of the two denominators of the fraction, then you can cancel them. So let me show you what I mean. You have 2 over fifths and you have 3 over 2. So what you can do is that since 2 is in the numerator of this fraction, and then 2 is in the denominator of this fraction, you can cancel the two numbers. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So you will get 1 fifths times 3 over 1, and then you'll get 3 fifths. So let's do more problems like that. So let's say we have 4 over 2 times 3 over 6. So how can we cancel stuff here? Well, you can do it in multiple ways, but one thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to cancel the 4 and 2. So 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2, and then the 2 will just become a 1. Because the thing is, you're dividing by 2. So you get 4 divided by 2 is 2, and you get 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Now you can get 2 times 2 over 1 times 3 over 6, but you can actually cancel more things. So what you can cancel is 2 and 6, and you can cancel that because they're both related to the number 2. So you get 2 divided by 2, which is 1, and you get 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Now, you can do 1 over 1 times 3 over 3, but the 3 and 3 also cancel because they're both a factor of 3, or they're both a multiple of 3. So if you do 3 divided by 3, then that's 1. You do 3 divided by 3, then that's 1. Then you get 1 over 1 times 1 over 1, and that is just equal to 1. So you can do it the other way. So you can do 4 over 2 times 3 over 6. You can multiply the top and you can multiply the bottom together. So you can do 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. And you can do 2 times 6, which is equal to 12. So put 12 in the numerator, 12 in the denominator. And you can simplify that to 1. So you get the same answer either way. It's just that I'm showing you how to do this canceling method. So let's try another problem. Let's say you have 4 over 16 times 3 over 9. So what you can do is that you can multiply the numerator, and denominator, but you will notice that there will be some reducing to do. So what you can do instead is that you can use this canceling method. One thing you can do is that 4 and 16 are both factors of 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. Another thing you can do is you see 3 and 9, and you can also tell that 3 and 9 are multiples of 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you do 1 times 1, which is 1, and 4 times 3, which is 12. And then you'll get the answer as 1/12. So let's do one last practice problem. Let's say we have 5 over 15ths times 16 over 48 times 3 over 2. So over here we have 3 fractions that we're multiplying by. So if you multiply numerator times numerator times numerator, and then you multiply denominator times denominator times denominator, that will be a lot to reduce to. If you multiply 5 times 16 times 3 and you get your numerator solution, and then you multiply 15 times 48 times 2 and you get your denominator solution, it's still not reduced. So this is where the canceling method is extremely helpful. So what can you do first? To cancel, what I see first is that I see 5 and 15 are both multiples of 5. So what I do 5 divided by 5, which is 1. And then since 5 is also a factor of 15, or hence if 15 is also a multiple of 5, then you do 15 divided by 5, and you get 3. Now let's see what else I have. So right now I have 1/3 times 16 over 48. So if you're not entirely sure, basically 48 is a multiple of 16. But if you're still not sure about that, what you can do is that you can still do 16 is a multiple of 2 and 48 is a multiple of 2. So you can cancel by 2's. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then 48 divided by 2 is 24. Now, you see that 8 over 24 can also be reduced. So 8 and 24, if you can't see that they're factors of 4 yet, which is okay, or if they're multiples of 4 yet, that's okay. What you may be able to see though is that 8 and 24 are both multiples of 2. So you can again do 8 divided by 2, which is equal to 4, and then 24 divided by 2, which is equal to 12. Now, 4 and 12 are multiples of 4. So you do 4 divided by 4, which is 1, and then 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So you get 1/3 times 1/3. And you can't really reduce 3/2 with itself yet. So you just keep 3/2 right here. Now you have 1/3 times 1/3 times 3/2. Now this version makes the fraction a lot easier to deal with than 5/15 times 16/48 times 3/2. But we can reduce this even further through cancellation. Since there's a 3 in the numerator and there's 2 3's in the denominator, we get to choose which 3 we want to cancel it with. So 3 and 3 are both multiples of 3. So you do 3 divided by 3, which equals 1, and you do 3 divided by 3, which equals 1. So you get 1/3 times 1/1 times 1/2. And then you get 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Just multiplied all the numerator numbers together. And then you get 3 times 1 times 2, which is equal to 6. So your answer is 1/6. Now if you try to do it with the original fraction, you may eventually be able to get there, but that's going to be a lot of reducing. So this way you already reduced and all you have to do is multiply straight across. So I do think that the cancellation is very helpful, but if you're still not very comfortable with it yet, that's okay. You can still just multiply all the fractions together and then reduce afterward. Yeah, so this is the video. We hope you learned something from it. We hope you understood how to multiply fractions better. Please do practice problems that I'm going to post